Welcome to Cigar Audit. Matt and Ed here to review the Montecristo No. 2. Thanks to Mr. Ed. Thank you, sir. The box code on these is OLM, August 2014. So these are 2 years old, almost exactly. So, Edward, what do you see in your hand? Besides some other things.
It's well, the color is pretty much uniform throughout. The cap's a little darker on mine anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yours looks a little bit.
About the same.
Construction looks good. The oily wrapper.
Very oily.
Tight seams.
I would agree.
Good, well constructed cigar.
The veins are very minimal. I have one moderate size vein, but a very good looking cigar, and I would say it doesn't have a heavy aroma to it, but I would say it's, maybe a slight earthy, slight hay,
like dung and hay,
quite barnyard like,
mm-hmm.
but not super strong. So we'll get this cut up, see how she goes. My draw is just right. And I'm definitely getting a woody leather note.
Draw's okay. It's a little tight from my taste, but it'll probably open up once it gets hot.
Well, at first light, I get a lot of, I would say, leathery, nutty flavors.
I'd agree from the first puff.
Mm-hmm. And I've had a fair amount of these. I know you have. And usually I don't remember them starting out so leathery before, but usually turn into like a chocolatey coffee type of stick. But very good note off the front.
Yeah, I like it so far.
Through the nose, I get some of those mixed sweet spices, a little bit of white pepper. It's good.
Yeah, the first blast I got was very heavy and leather, and then that peanutty taste from the Coaba. And the peanutty taste has kind of changed a little bit.
It's mixed with like white pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I think it's a little bit of a citrus note to it, which I'm not used to in a Monte tea. But the box code that you have is supposed to be a very good box code. Well, so far so good. A good start. Fairly complex, medium full stick so far. So we'll see how it progresses and let you know how the first third was. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt and Ed here to review the Montecristo No. 2 from Cuba. So, Mr. Ed, your first third, how has it been?
Oh, it's been good. The spice, I guess, is what has changed the most, sort of from a white pepper back to a black pepper, a little bit more intense, and then back to the white. And then, some once in a while there's, I guess, like you were saying, some more sweeter spice thrown in there. Mm-hmm. That leather undertone is still there. The earthiness is kind of gone a little bit away. It's more leather to me. My burn is pretty good. It's a little wonky, but we were sitting in a wind tunnel, so I need to stay back here because I don't want to burn a hole in the stable.
Well, you can tap the ash.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Remember, it's all about the ash.
It's a natural ash.
That's measured.
Yeah, my ash is a little bigger than yours. Yours is a little lighter than mine.
Mine's straighter though. It doesn't curve like yours does.
But it's curved for her pleasure. Anyway, my first third has been very good. I think as well that the spice notes have kind of mixed back and forth. I get a little white pepper, a hint of black pepper on the retrohale, I get some coffee notes, and I would say right now, I think it's more like a leather and milk chocolate is what I'm getting right now. And a little bit of that Cuban twang is coming in that I really enjoy. It's starting to turn into a number two that I'm used to. The beginning was definitely different and fairly complex. I thought that, adding the nuttiness and the real strong leather notes, a little bit more than I'm used to from a Monte 2. But so far so good, burns good. Ash is holding on really well at this point, knock on wood. And, smoke is, considering even being in the wind tunnel, I think the smoke is good. It's smoking quite well. My draw is perfect. So.
Oh, well, yeah, I forgot to mention, my draw is, now that we're down, has opened up more. Yeah, it's good now. Just at the beginning.
And it's definitely getting chocolatey now. So that's the profile I really enjoy. When you hit that chocolate coffee note, especially in a Cuban cigar, and you add it with that Cuban twang, I really, really enjoy it. So far so good. So we'll get further down in the stick and we'll let you know how the second third goes. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt and Ed here to go over the second third of the Montecristo No. 2. I'll go first, and I'll say that my second third was pretty complex. Notes of occasional coffee, some milk chocolate, but a lot of vegetal notes, which I don't remember from the No. 2 before. But and I would say the finish tends to be very leathery with sweeter spices, an occasional white and black pepper, and through the nose, I would say for the most part, I'm getting a mix of sweet spices, white pepper, and leather. So, but it's produced a very complex note. It's changed. So the first third, actually the very beginning, was different from the end of the first third, and the second third has been different. So, so good progression so far. What about you?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And the body third, definitely the sweeter spice and the bell peppery celery type taste. I don't really get the coffee, but I like my coffee really strong, so that may be a reason.
Yeah, it's real creamy, not a...
Yeah, now that I've gotten, I'm at actually the last third, now it's kicked back up to the more pepper spice. I mean, it's really changing a lot more than I've had a cigar in a long time.
I would say, it's kind of interesting. These are one of those cigars right now, the Monte 2, that's considered either a very good cigar or not so good cigar. They can be very different from box to box. Your box code is known to be good, and I think this is producing, I would say, a great cigar. It's very complex. Right now, my finish has turned into more like a black pepper and leather.
That's what I was saying. It's the spices now, as I'm getting down to the last third, has gone from that sweet spice more to the black pepper type.
And I would agree. I mean, that last draw I had didn't have chocolate that time, but the time before it did. So, from draw to draw, you could get something different, but it's not disturbing in any way or out of whack in any way. I think it's very well blended. So, but a good complex.
I think it was very interesting. We were smoking with, a friend of mine that I've known for years. Matt just met him, and he doesn't like changes in his cigars. He likes a consistent cigar, and he thinks that cigars that change are not good. I personally like the changes in a stick, and I think that ones that don't change, and I'm saying change in a good way, to me they're the lesser cigars, unless it's extremely good. Although consistently all the way through.
True.
But I look in for a fine cigar. I look for the changes and the complexity.
I do too, and I think that adds to the art of making the cigar, because they're picking the different leaves to put in there at different times to give it the transitions. And there are some really high quality cigars that don't change a lot. Some of the Cohibas don't change a lot, but he was talking about pyramids, and the last time I smoked a Cohiba pyramid, it didn't change a whole lot. It was, a good flavor, but very little transitions, which is why he probably likes it. So, but to each their own. I think that a complex cigar to me adds more value to it because it's not boring. You don't get bored with it. Now, I've had cigars that taste great. I don't want it to change, but you know, I do like to go on a little bit of a journey. So, besides other journeys. Believe. Anyway, so far so good. So we'll smoke it down to the end. We'll nub it and we'll see how it goes. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt and Ed here to finish up the Montecristo No. 2 from Cuba. So Ed, how's your last third been?
My last third, it's very similar to the other two. You know, the spice, the black pepper has come back pretty strong. Still with the undertones of leather on the finish. Not so much sweetness anymore. And for me, the vegetable taste may have gone away. So it's pretty much the leather and the black pepper spice for me.
I think through the nose, the vegetal notes and the black pepper is stronger definitely in the last third. But on the draw, yeah, I get mainly leather. I'm not getting much of anything else. And I've gotten a few bitter notes here and there in the last third, and mine's burning warmer than Ed's is. It might be because my draw's more open, which would make sense, but I'm trying not to draw as hard so that I don't get that hot draw, but it is already getting hot, which is a little bit of a disappointment for this size cigar.
Yeah, mine's not getting hot.
And your ashes look different pretty much the whole way. Yours has been a lighter ash, mine's been a darker ash, so they're a little inconsistent as far as the construction. Not that I'm looking at your ash, you know, just saying. But in general. So Ed, how would you rate your cigar? You see the difference?
Yeah.
That's a big difference. I can see my ash and I can see your ash.
I see one.
I got a black ash. You like my black ash?
Mm-mm.
So Ed, rate your cigar in its entirety.
I think it's a very good cigar. Probably one of the better ones that I've had in some time. Very complex, a lot of changes. I'm going to go a 94, I think.
Okay. I would, in totality, I would agree. I think it's a pretty complex cigar. My last third has not been complex. So my last third's been very straight ahead. And in general, I would say that the cigar has performed well. But I would have been higher than you if I was making that rating before the last third. But for me, the last third has been a little bit of a letdown, and I believe this cigar will probably be a lot better in a year. Cubans tend to do better with age, and I think that this Cuban needs another year on it. With that said, it's a very good medium full smoke, and I would say the strength of the nicotine is medium at most. And I'm going to shock Ed and the rest of the world that watches our crappy little show. I'm going to give it a 93.
I figured you'd go one under me, but still.
Well, I thought it was a very good cigar. I probably would have given it at least a 95 or so in the first two thirds. But the last third was a little bit of a letdown, honestly. But still a good cigar, and I think it'll do better with some more time.
For me, it's probably been like the second best cigar I've had in a while.
I can't say that. I would say that I had a Cohiba Robusto last weekend that I would have rated it at 98, 99. It was amazing.
Well, I didn't have that.
No, you didn't have that one. I had an Edmundo recently that was better than this. I've had a handful, but I think that this cigar has a lot to give in another year or two. So that's good. That's good for you because you have a box of them. So, but anyway, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Check us out on Facebook, and don't forget to check out cigaraudit.com. See you next time. Peace.